In this, I'm going to explain the practicing of the SQL injection attacks. So visit the following websites to practice various SQL injection options. In this, the first website that we are going to see is hackspanning.com/exercises/SQL injection. This particular website will give you, this particular exercise will give you simple understanding of what is meant by SQL injection, how this particular SQL injection will be conducted. So we'll see this particular option, and now move on to the link given here, and you will find here the SQL injection. If you are vulnerable to SQL injection, attackers can run arbitrary commands against your database. So we'll see how it will be happened. Ready to see how it is? Okay, chalo, we'll go for checking of this. So let's assume that this is a bank website, and in this bank website, this is vulnerable application. We will be trying to hack with the SQL injection attack. So how you know that the SQL injection will be performed or possible? So we are supposed to try this. That means by sending the usernames, passwords, or by entering the username passwords with some AND operations or operations. Okay, we are supposed to do this. Or we may use web application vulnerability testing tools like nikto or any other tool, and we can get the information about the content management software that are used by the web application, like how we have seen in the vulnerable OS v2 case study, that is open document, and we are supposed to understand what are the known vulnerabilities, and we may use the related payloads and can exploit the target. Okay, so this is the vulnerable application we will be trying to use. So we click this here. In general, here is the application log. So whenever the web application is clicked or anything was happened, internally a log will be maintained. So watch what happens here when you interact with the vulnerable application. So we'll see what will happen. So go ahead and trying login with the following credentials. Here login credentials are like this: user at the rate email.com. This is the username, and password is password. So it is asking you to enter these credentials and click login. So whenever you click login, it is giving you that unknown email or password. That means this username or password doesn't exist. So we'll see. Okay, so guessing the password don't work. Let's trying adding code characters after the password. That means currently we have guessed the password, maybe like password 123 or admin 123 like that. We widely guessed that, and we entered, but the password is we know the username, but we don't know the password. So password doesn't work now. So what we are supposed to do is try adding code character after the password. What is the code character here that was given here? You look at password and a single quote. So we'll add entering the single quote, password and single quote. Then we'll try login. So whenever we try login, here it is giving that the application crashed with an unexpected error. What would that mean? So here you have entered a single quote, and the single quote is taken by the web application software, web application code, and in that code, whenever we place the password colon, the system was crashed. Why it was happened? We'll see the log. Here password is equal to within single quote password, and here after this actually this was taken, that is the parameter password was taken within the single quotes, but I have added an additional single quote here. This additional single quote will give you a compiler error, that is the processing error. So that is the reason this indicates that quote character messed something up in an unexpected way. So some unexpected was happened here. So that is the reason this logging page was crashed. So we'll see what we can do further. So we'll observe deeply how this particular thing will be processed in the database. This will be processed like this: select star from users, where email is equal to user@email.com and pass is equal to password. Okay, the password will be processed as a string. So whenever it is processed as a string, it will be enclosed in the single quotes. But what we did is we made the additional single quote placed here. So whenever we made a additional single quote placed here, then what will happen? It will raise an error. So in the SQL injection attack, first the attacker will try for two things. One is error-based injection, and another is blind injection. Error-based injection means we try giving some wrong data into the form, so that because of that wrong data, some errors may be raised and will be shown onto the screen, or maybe in the logs of the web page that we can observe via some log tracing or some other thing. So whenever we did like this is what the experiment what we are doing is error-based SQL injection technique. That means in which we have observed that this is the error we observed, and we thought that okay, internally the query will be processed like that. Since I have mentioned an additional quote, it will be looking like this within single quotes password and an additional code that would have supplied. So this is what the application code looks like behind the scenes. So we'll see, enter the password single quote and watch the code view window. So here code window, how it will be reflected. Now initially the pass is empty, so this will be processed as a string. Now let will enter password single quote and try login. Now you look at in the code section, you will find here password pass this one. So that means we need to give this particular single quote in a escape sequence. Okay, whenever you give it in a escape sequence, this cannot be processed. This cannot be processed, and if you mention a comment, this effect will be nullified. This is what the thing we have seen in the lecture. So let us see now what we can do. The quote is inserted directly into the SQL string and terminates the query early. This is what caused the syntax error we saw in the log. So for this uh, we can understand that with this we can understand that this is the behavior is resulting into error, and with which attacker can guess that okay, what type of injection he can make into the form, so that he can successfully capture the database, or he can successfully enter into the web application. So for this, he is trying a tautology based SQL injection. That is, enter the following credentials and then click login. Here the user ID already we have entered, user@email.com, and then now we'll enter the password. So password, so single quote or space 1 is equal to 1, and I'm going to mention the comment like this, so that this effect will be nullified. This is a tautology based. That means even though the password is wrong, since our operation was mentioned here, 1 is equal to 1 is always true. Hence, this entire query will become true and will return some information, or will may login also. Well, we have logged into the application. Since even though this password is wrong and we know the username, even though the password is wrong, but because of this OR operation which was mentioned here, 1 is equal to 1, which is true, which is a tautology based injection, that application turned into that is the application is logged in, and we got the account balance of the user, that is user@email.com. So account balance and all. Now you can start fund transfer and you can do any one of the operation. So successfully gained access to the application without having to guess the password using the SQL injection. So this is what the way how this particular SQL injection will work. Finally, we'll see that hyphen hyphen characters you entered causes the database to ignore the rest of the SQL statement, allowing you to be authenticated without having to supply the real password. So this is what we think called this hyphen hyphen is a kind of comment that will be used for nullifying the effect of the previous query. Even though the previous query is false, if this is true, then this will allow the entire query to be executed as a true, and the resultant will be shown onto the screen, or the login will be successful. So this is the way how the SQL injection attack will be performed in general. Then after this demo, it was given that how to prevent the SQL injection attacks, and you can go through this prevention of the SQL injection attacks. They have mentioned some guidelines how to prepare your code in such a way that you can avoid the SQL injection attacks. So this is what the simple demo which demonstrate the SQL injection, how it will be conducted. Always this SQL injection will be conducted on the trial and error basis. So you need to have some patience in doing this activity and exploring the pattern with which you can log in into the system. Next, we will move on to the exploiting SQL injection, a hands-on example. This is a example provided by Equinetics, which is a very the popular security system developer. And this Equinetics tool is popularly used by many of the security companies, especially for performing the security testing. Okay, in which let will see the tutorial given by them, the exploiting SQL injection, a hands-on example. Here in this series, we will be showing step-by-step example of common attacks. So here the common attacks was shown here. So example of vulnerable code that will be like this. Always the vulnerable code usually will get via the get request that was shown here. So always we have to catch the attribute with which we can insert the SQL commands. Securitics is an organization that will develop the security solutions. It will also develop security solutions such as vulnerability scanners and other defensing related security softwares. So it has developed a site called http://testphp.vulnerableweb.com. So what we'll do is now we'll use this website and we'll try to check for the any vulnerabilities present, and also we'll use sqlmap to identify what are the possible attributes that we can use for injecting the SQL queries via get method and also via post method. So to do this, first we need to use the nikto tool. With nikto tool, we can come to know is there any vulnerability present in the website. Then we may use the directory search methods like by using the dir buster, and we can go for browsing of the directory, and we may inspect the pages to know any unknown directories or any secret directories available. Then we may use the SQL map to know what is the level of security that website maintains. To test this, I am going to open the Kali Linux, for which I am attaching NAT network as the network interface to the Kali Linux. Once you set it, you start the Kali Linux, then you use the nikto tool to insert the to search for the vulnerabilities present in the website. Nikto -h, that is -h, which is for the host, and you provide the host name, that is the website name. Then it will start searching for the vulnerabilities. Make note of the vulnerability number and go to the CVS repository and find out what is the vulnerability. How can we exploit that vulnerability? Open another command prompt and type there sqlmap -u, the URL. So it will go for searching of uh, the possibility of inserting the attributes with which the SQL injection can be performed. Testing for the connection, the target URL, there is a DBMS error found. So http://test php URL. So since there is no test parameter was found, here it is asking you are advised to return with hyphen hyphen forms hyphen hyphen crawl is equal to 2. So what I will do is hyphen hyphen forms hyphen hyphen crawl crawl is equal to 2. Now let will see is there anything to be checked. Okay, here SQL map is asking that do you want to check for extent existence of site map. Okay, check it, no problem. It will go for checking of the site map. Please enter the number of threads. Currently, I'm using only one thread to execute this. So in the single thread of control, it will check for uh, got 302 redirect, and it will check for the vulnerabilities and vulnerable attributes that we can use with the uh, test.php.vulnerable.web.com. In this, it identifies that one web page, that is login.php. Do you want to follow this? Yes. It is asking that do you want to normalize the crawling results? Okay, just you say yes. So that will normalize this. Do you want to store crawling results to a temporary file for eventual further processing? Yes, I want to store it. So the post data that we have identified here is the form will be having like this. Post data is http colon slash slash the URL search.php colon sorry question mark test is equal to query. This is one post based attribute that was identified, and post data search for is equal to go button is equal to go. It is also some post data is going on. So do you want to test this form? Yes, that's it. Test for this and edit the post data. So just to please place a blank, it will check for all the random values and it will identify for which value this attribute is responding for the SQL injection. Now here the parameter, see it is saying that SQL map resumed the following injection point now and store the session, and it was identified that the title is MySQL. That means this particular web application backend is MySQL. It was identified that MySQL has been used by the web application. So place get parameter for such type and place get parameter. So let will say get parameter. Is there any possibility of get parameter? Okay, check for the URL for the get parameters, and you look at these are the web pages that are identified with which we can insert the get parameter. And here the parameters are like this: the URL that what we are going to test, userinfo.php, guestbook.php, showxml.php, artist.php. In this artist, okay, artist is one attribute with which we can insert some value. Comment.php, aid is equal to 1. This aid is a variable with which we can insert some value. Like that, hpp pp is equal to 12. Like that, list products.php cat, this category is equal to 1. So these are the parameters. So once you got this, you are supposed to copy paste somewhere, so that you can work with these attributes, and at the same time all these found results was stored in the form of CSV in the root dot locals slash share. So whenever you want, you can refer to it. So for time being, we may copy and paste, or we may refer to the CSV file. So these are the pages we find, and these are the attributes we find with which we can insert the values via get method, and via post method these are the values. Again, we can run the same thing for the getting of the post values. Already with get values we know it. We got the get values, then we'll go for searching of the variables or parameters with which we can perform the SQL injection via post. The same is asking again and again. That means previously what was asked, the same thing was asked here. So instead of choosing get method previously, we'll use post method now. Test this form. Yes, test it. So edit the post data. Blank fields were detected. So that will uh, enter in blank fields only, and that will check for the post. Yes. So for the post and get also we got the same variables. So with the same variables with which we can enter the thing. So uh, here user info show xml.php, guestbook.php, list products. So these are the variables. These are the URLs and corresponding variables. So SQL injection vulnerability has been detected against so and so website. That is the website that we are going to check. Do you want to skip the further testing to resolve it? Yes. So we can let now we'll rerun it again and we'll say no. Then we'll see what will happen. Here it is asking for, do you want to test for the second form? Yes. So here post data, just to give the bank and it will go for filling up the random values. Then it will check for resuming the backend DB MySQL. Here it identified that MySQL is the backend DB. Now redirect to vulnerable hub login.php. Do you want to follow? Yes. Redirect is the result of post request. Do you want to resend the original post data to new locator? Yes. So here some SQL injection was prepared by the query, prepared by the tool. And do you want to inject this? Yes, that will inject. And we will exploit that. So backend is MySQL and version is 5.0.12 and the post data is like this. HTTP the testing website ajax show xml.php and here post data is looking like that and it was formed in the form of XML. And do you want to test this form? Yes, test it. Edit the post data. No need to edit any post data. As it is, you send it. So for XML data found in post body, do you want to process it? Yes, process. How do you want to proceed? Continue string rejects quit. So here unable to connect to the target URL, SQL map is going to try the request. So the warning was persistent. If the same warning persists, then we are supposed to use URL in reachable and return the switch hyphen hyphen random hyphen agent to do this. Testing of the URL content is stable, but we didn't get anything here. That means this this XML is not unable to inject in it. But anyhow, we got the attributes. So we use those attributes and try to inject the queries in that on the trial and error basis. Now, whenever I'm continuing, instead of going to the trial and error basis, just I'm giving the control to the SQL map itself. It is checking all the possible of where and having select from group by having all the things. So it is recommended to perform only basic union test if there is not at least one another technique found. Do you want to reduce the number of requests? Okay, reduce, no problem. Testing. So in this also it didn't find anything or XML related things are injectable here. So like this, you keep on trying different attributes, different combinations, so that you will get some information. Previously, we tested for the login, and now it is asking for another form to test, that is guestbook.php. So we can also test for the guestbook. You may also inject some values like name is equal to some anonymous and user text is equal to submit. Okay, here along with this one, do you want to test this form? Okay, it will fill some random values and may test it. So for this, just will go for S and we will go for like this. Then we will ask the SQL map to submit some random values and get the information. First, it will always check for whether the web application firewall is stopping it or not. If it is not stopping, then it will start conducting the tests. It is trying for all combinations of select and select by, group by, order by. So all these options it is selecting. It is trying for all with all options. So in a systematic way, you try to test all these forms that was observed previously. We tested for the login and currently the search for the products is going on. Like this, you can also you keep on going for searching remaining other forms and make note of the results. And whatever the results you got, based on that, you try opening that web page in the browser and try to insert SQL commands via URL bar in the web browser. In the meanwhile, let us see what a nikto tool is exploring. So it explored various vulnerabilities like XSS protection of the header is not found, anti-click jacking X framework was not defined in this, and RFC 1918 IP address found in the location header. Some IP address was also found. OSVDB 630, that is, the web server may reveal the internal uh, real IP in the location header via request to images folder. So that means directly images folder can be accessible. Usually the images folder cannot be accessible because it should be kept in private. And also admin folder is also accessible via this URL. So that is OSVDB 3268 and 3092 3268. These are the vulnerabilities identified. You can open the CVS repository. There you can type this OSVDB 3268 code and you identify what is the problem with this. That means with this URL directly, if you type admin and slash, directly it will go into the admin page, and slash images, it will list the images. Let we'll see whether it will be done or not. This is the Acunetics web page for testing and demonstrating the site for Acunetics vulnerability scanner. And in this, let we'll see whether it will respond to the slash admin or not. Slash admin. Yeah, directly slash admin slash is directly giving some SQL commands over here. That will open this. So it is we can directly we are in a position directly download the create.sql page. So that will open this. Well, we got all the tables related information: forms, artists, category, pictures. Okay, what are the tables used in this web application? All the tables we got. This is the vulnerability identified. Okay, next we may use this table. We may use this table directly for for posting the queries from the command prompt using get method. So anyhow, the product search will be done on the category. So category table can be used. In this category ID is there, category name is there, cdesk is there. So this details can be directly obtained via the SQL injection from the URL via get method. So like this, all these tables are revealed, and that is up to you. Previously, I have given you the document. Go through the document and identify the possible SQL queries that we can inject via using these attributes. Okay. Next is we have gone for images. Images is also a folder that we can easily identify. Okay, here logo is there and remark is there. So usually this images and admin, this kind of folders should be kept as private, but this web application is keeping it as public. So this is a vulnerability identified, that what we have identified via nikto tool in our vulnerability scan. Any other information it revealed? No. So far, it is the only information that we have identified, and this particular thing was identified. And at the same time, the web server may reveal its internal real IP in the location header via request to the images and other. So here the value of the internal server, that means to the external world some different IP will be there, but internally an IP will be there. That is the IP address that is 10.0.0.63 that will be revealed or already revealed. So we can directly we can directly ping to the 10.0.0.63. Then directly our system will directly ping to this particular IP address. Let we'll see whether we can really ping to this 10.0.0.63, because I have not connected to this thing, but just I have connected to the internet. Can we directly go for pinging of this? It will go for a command prompt. There we type ping 10.0.0.63. Well, it is connecting. Okay. So now the TTL user here is 59. That means it is less than 64. That means on the system, that is on the target system, is using Linux as the operating system. So well, we have connected to 10.0.0.63. Okay, ifconfig. Our computer is connected to 10.0.2.10, which is our virtual machine's IP address. But 10.0.0.63, which is no way related to our series, but still we are unable to connect it. The reason is this is the internal IP address of the Accuratics vulnerable application website server. That means to outside you may find different IP address which is called public IP, but internally within the organization, what IP address it is using, that is what the 10.0.0.63. So like this, we can reveal information about this, and we can reveal the attributes that we can use with this, are can be placed here. It was checked here, can be checked here, and can be noted. So like this, you find out and iterate through what are the forms available, and find out what are the possible SQL injections that you can make, and go through the previous article that I have mentioned here. I hope you might have noted the forms and related attributes we can insert via get method and post method that we have observed via SQL map previously. Now I will explain few examples so that you will get a familiarity of how to perform the SQL injection via SQL map. So in which I'm going to take the artist form, where artist form consisting of the artist is equal to some artist number. So there we can use this artist number and we can get some values. So already you have noted that particular form. Just I'm copying it, pasting here. Just recall the vulnerable OS V2 operating system penetration testing, in which what we have done the SQL queries, that is by using SQL map, SQL injection. In that SQL map, you view the URL, and here this particular form we have identified via SQL map search previously, that we can insert the SQL query with this. So what I'm doing is hyphen hyphen db. That means to list what are the databases available. So I'm running this, and we'll see hyphen hyphen dbs. Okay, that will go for inserting of the dbs. It will give you what are the list of databases that we can use. So look like backend is mysql. Do you want to skip test payload for specific other dbs, because already mysql was as a revealed was is as database, it is revealed, so no need to search for again and again. For remaining tests, do you want to include all tests for MySQL extending the provided level 1 and risk values? Yes. So it is asking to keep test other things, because it has identified that artist is vulnerable to inject. So let's say yes. So it will check for this. So it prepared some SQL query, and finally it was available that accurate and information schema are the two databases available in the web application. So now, since we know that accurate is available, anyhow the via going to the admin via create .sql, here also we got some information. By correlating this information, we can perform some more attacks. So we have revealed that accurate is a database in which this table, this artist related tables are available. Now we come to know the database accurate. Now what we are going to do is we use this database and we list the tables. So from this hyphen d, what is the database? Accurate and tables. So it lists the tables, artist, cart, category, and these things. So these are the tables listed here. That means now you make note of the tables which are available. Anyhow, from via admin also we identified what are the tables available, because they have made an SQL query in which create table was there. Usually when you have developed a web application on your site and you want to port it onto uh, the host site, obviously uh, you have to take it in a SQL form, and you are supposed to run this SQL queries again on the domain hoster or a hoster's site, so that the tables will be created again. So for that, they will generate an SQL script that admin might have forgotten to delete that SQL script. And because of the vulnerability present in the web application, we directly gone to that and we have opened the admin page, and there we got this SQL query. And that also, in that way also we got it. If you assume that if that particular vulnerability is not there, then how to identify what are the tables? This is one another way, that via performing SQL injection. In this, let us will pick up the users table, because in users table only we'll get some information about the username, password, etc. So one for that, to reveal it, let will go for users table, and from that users table let will see the username, and that is first we'll list the columns and we'll see what is whether the which to be targeted. So first we'll go for table users, and there we'll ask the SQL map to list the columns. So for this, database is accurate, and that will select the table. From this we'll select the table t is equal to users, and what we want, we want columns, columns, columns. Well, we got the columns like address, cart, CC, email, name, password, etc. So now we want name, and we require username and password. So with this username and password, we can log in into the Accunetics website. So to list the username, what we can do is we have to select the database and and the table users, and then we need a column C, that is hyphen C column. The column name is uname hyphen dump. So we'll get the usernames. We'll try to get the username out of this. So it is checking for the usernames. So here one username was identified, that is test. So we don't know the password. Let will go for testing of the password. What is the password to get? So what is the password column? Pass. So let will so here column pass and hyphen dump. So we'll get the password of this. So make note of the user. Who is the user? Tester. And the password, it has to retrieve. The password is test. So username is test and password is also test. So this is the thing we got. So like that, you check for the email, you check for other tables, you check for other columns, and you check for the possibility of insertion of something into this, some your own values into this. That will try login into this Accunetics website via username test and password test. Will it be accepted or not? So login. So well, the login was successful. So in this way, we can get the usernames and passwords that we can get here, and then you start performing various other SQL injection attacks that what we have studied via documentation previously. And I'm going to present now some more documentations or help things that we can browse through and you can get it. And at the same time, I will give you some more. I'm going to explain now what are the different other websites with which you can perform the vulnerability scanning other than the nikto. The next thing to be checked is visit the link pentest-tools.com/website vulnerability scanning. Whenever you open this link, it will look like this. This is SQL injection scanner. This SQL injection scanner tool, this is an online tool. This will help you to identify is there any SQL injection attacks possible on a given website. So what we do is you try doing this with the help of by taking the web kiosk of our university or any other website that you want to test. That website name can be placed there and to check whether SQL injections are possible or not. So let will enter the web kiosk username and web kiosk website. Let will see web kiosk jiit.ac.in. That will copy this URL and paste here and free scan. I am authorized to do this and light scan. So it will scan the website, the given website, for any possibility of SQL injection. If it is so, then immediately you make note of those things, and always it is supposed to report to the concerned people. So that is the reason don't reveal this information anywhere. Okay, this information should be revealed only to the concerned users. So here some information is giving here. Here captcha error related parameter is there, which can be used with the get information. It was observed so far. Next, post related information was observed here like this, and post related information was observed here like this. Still the search is going on, scanning is going on. Well, scan is completed now, and the scan has shown the three type of light spider result and three dynamic URLs and total six URL crawled, and in which no SQL injection vulnerabilities found in the web kiosk. So even though we have these parameters to use, but there is no possibility of SQL injection found in the lighter scan that was observed via this particular pen test tools. So we are very happy that our web kiosk is successfully written, which is free of the SQL injection attacks. So like that, you may also check for SQL injection attacks in any other website, mainly the electronic commerce website and any other sites. So for this, you may also use the acute. Next, we'll see one more link where you can practice this SQL injection attack. Anyhow, there are so many resources are there. Just you go through these resources that I have mentioned in the URLs, which are somewhat compact and you can readily use them. So that is the reason I have given these URLs. Here, you consider the URL, this one, ninth one, the sechow.com /bricks /doc /login one login1.html. This you select it and open the URL. So whenever you open the URL, you will find the page like this. In this is a bricks. Bricks is a built-in PHP and MySQL. Bricks are classified into three different sections: login pages, file upload pages, and content pages. Each section has a number of pages which poses some security issues. Now what you can do is first you download this bricks page, then PHP and MySQL, and a browser, whatever the browser you want, you can download it. And other softwares are zip, 7-zip and sqlmap. These are the tools required for performing the security testing. So once you download this, then you can go for installation. You go through the installation and you can go to the video here, which was placed here. So the installation is very simple. It is of around less than 100 MB only. This entire thing, installation and setup. So once the installation was done, then go to the login pages. Here in the login pages, there are 4 to 5 login pages are available with different options of SQL injection. So here credentials for login in normally, that is admin, Tom, Ron, and Ron. So these are the usernames and password, default usernames and passwords provided here. So you can try using various options of SQL injection here, like select star from users where name is equal to Tom and password is equal to Tom, password is equal to nothing. But as we have seen the tautology based SQL injection previously, so we try using all these possibilities. Here, these are the cheat sheet was given. You can practice these SQL injections there, and you can check. So this is for the login page 1, and for login page 2, there are some other options available here. You may go through this video and you can do side by side. So for the beginners, it will be helpful. But already who are aware of this SQL injection attacks and all, then they try using some other tools like webgoat or it's not tools actually. These are the resources with which you can practice, like webgoat and web for pen testers for vulnerable OS v2. These are the various tools, various uh, vulnerable applications that with which you can uh, enhance your practice. Next, like this login page 4, and here also somewhat complex SQL queries was given here, where you will be having the multiple combinations of complex structures of the query was given here. Next, not only login page and entering into the login page, but also file uploads. You can upload the files like PDF files or any other vulnerable files into the system. Like that also you can practice the SQL injection. Next, in this file upload content only, you will be having 3 categories, and in the content pages, you will be having 5 categories. Content page in sense you can edit your content. You can edit the message or information that you want to enter into the web page via this particular SQL injection. So advanced SQL injection integer based. So these are some queries that you can use for injecting this information into the web application or extracting some information from the web application. Both the ways it will help you to practice. So there are around 5 pages are there, content pages. In 5 pages, different queries have been used for practicing. So you are suggested to go through this URL and may practice. I have provided some reference links in the document. You may download this document from the description section of this video and practice this SQL command injection with the help of the SQL map and vulnerability scanning.